topic of chain migration central to negotiations over a DACA deal, central to all negotiations over immigration, because a huge percentage of our immigrants come here because they have relatives here already. Jessica Vaughn has taken a very close look at those numbers. She's at the Center for Immigration Studies. She joins us tonight. Jessica, give us a sense of how key chain migration, it's a phrase the left is saying we're not allowed to use anymore, but it's the phrase. How central is that to our immigration patterns?
Well, it makes up more than half of all legal immigration today.
So most.
Right. It is. It's most of immigration, and it's the fastest growing part of immigration because certain categories of chain migration are not limited, like some of the family preferences. For example, the parents of U.S. citizens come in unlimited numbers with no waiting period. So there are more and more of them coming every year. And we've actually been able to trace the pattern of immigration from certain countries where it started off with, say, the lottery as being one of the main forms of immigration, and then over time, chain migration starts to dwarf any other kind of immigration. It's got a built-in momentum, and that's driving growth in our immigration system, and it's ensuring that the immigration flow that we get is basically the same kind of people who came before. We're letting yesterday's immigrants choose tomorrow's immigrants when it's based on chain migration. And that's not a logical way to run an immigration system. We should be...
It sounds like we're not in control of it. Well, that's it. I mean, it doesn't sound, by your description, that the U.S. government, its citizens, are really in charge of who comes here because of chain migration.
That's right. Immigrants are in charge of who comes through chain migration. And that's how we've seen, particularly when you have the lottery driving a lot of new chain migration. We have countries from all over the world that previously didn't send many immigrants. And eventually, chain migration exponentially increases the numbers, and it develops a life of its own in a way, and momentum of its own. And that's why this is one of the key things that needs to be addressed if there's going to be an immigration bill, because if we do a DACA amnesty, the people who get that amnesty, whether it's the 700,000 people who now have DACA or the 3 million some who are part of certain other plans that have been proposed, like by Senator Durbin, their parents will qualify under our current system. And that's, you know, at least going to probably double the size of the amnesty.
That's unbelievable.
And that's why chain migration is one of the 4 things that President Trump says has to be a part of a deal to offset the effects of any amnesty.
So I mean, I guess the takeaway, just for our viewers, is chain migration is responsible for the majority of people who come here legally. So it's not some afterthought. It's the debate right there. Thank you for making that clear to us, Jessica. Appreciate it.
Good to talk with you.